With the release of Update 20, a new NPC was placed in the new island, the Dragon Talon Sage. Interacting with him gives you the option to create scrolls and enchant weapons with them. Before I tell you more about scrolls, keep in mind that your weapons need to be upgraded at the blacksmith found in all 3 seas before enchanting them. Scrolls are split into 6 rarities, which are common, rare, legendary, mythic, blessed, and cursed. But only 4 are obtainable as of right now. Blessed and cursed scrolls will probably be craftable in a future update. When you first craft scrolls, most of the recipes will be locked. This is because you need to craft 10 of the common scrolls to unlock the recipe for the rare scrolls, and 10 rare scrolls for the legendary recipe, 10 legendary for the mythical scroll recipe. The materials you need will all be obtainable from sea events. And you will need rarer materials to craft the high-tier scrolls. Here are all the recipes on screen. Feel free to pause the video anytime you want. With these scrolls, you can enchant your weapons with enchantments which give multiple buffs. Each of the scrolls give you different amount of enchantment levels, which are distributed into the enchantment you get. The common scroll giving 3 levels, the rare one gives 5, the legendary one gives 7, and the mythical scroll gives 7 to 9 enchantment levels. So if I use a common scroll, I can get up to 3 different enchantments, all level 1, or 2 enchantments, one level 1 and the other being level 2. Unique enchantments take up 1 level, while blessings and curses don't, which I'm going to talk about next. Enchants are split into 4 categories: regular enchantments, unique enchantments, blessing enchantments, and cursed enchantments. There are 12 regular enchants that you can get as of right now. These are Agile, Beast, Deadly, Efficient, Elemental, Fortune, Lucky, Natural, Piercing, Sharp, Siphon, and Vampiric. Here's a ranking of all of the regular enchants based on my opinion. I think Deadly and Piercing will be one of the best regular enchantments for PvP, as Deadly can increase your damage by a crazy 10% when maxed. Piercing will ignore up to 35% defense from races, fruits, and accessories, which is huge, as Shark was one of the most annoying races to deal with. But Piercing will probably be a must-have regular enchant along with Deadly. Next are unique enchantments. There are currently only 6 in the game. Masterpiece, which increases damage dealt by 5% and reduce cooldowns by 8%. Rage, which increases your speed upon dealing damage. The duration scales with base damage. Sharpshooter increases damage by 10%, but cooldowns are 20% longer. Strong Grip, which makes damage scale with 40% of your melee stat and 60% of your sword gun stat. Unbreakable makes it so that held skills can't be interrupted for 2 seconds. And finally, Unreal, which decreases cooldowns by 20% and also decreases damage by 15%. Here's a tier list. I think Strong Grip is by far the best enchant for all fruit mains, as your sword and gun will do a significant amount of damage with no stats in them. I also think Rage is pretty good as well, but this is probably for races other than Mink. Unbreakable will be good in a few situations, but I think it's harder to come by one of them. That's all I have to say about unique enchantments. Let's go on to the next one. Blessings are pretty hard to get, as you only have a 3% chance with the legendary scrolls and only 10% with the mythical. While they are hard to get, they provide insane buffs. There are only 4 in the game right now, which are Burning, which applies a burn damage for 4 seconds upon landing a hit. This damage scales with the final damage. Frozen, which applies slowness to the opponent upon landing an attack. This effect scales with the base damage. Sea, which applies a seasickness effect to fruit users only when an attack lands. This also scales with base damage. And finally, Storm, which chains lightning damage to nearby enemies when landing an attack. The effect scales of the final damage. It's similar to the Cyborg V4 electricity. Here's a tier list. Storm is going to be so strong on weapons with AoE attacks like the Soul Guitar. It might have been obvious, but I put C at the bottom since it's just a worse version of Frozen. C only hits fruit users with a seasickness, but Frozen can be applied to all users and it slows them down. The slowness is going to help with aim and also retreat when you're low on health. Finally, curses. Curses give you a crazy buff in exchange for a debuff. The chances of getting curses are not specified as of right now. People have gotten curses from mythic scrolls, but not from legendary scrolls at the moment. It may be possible, but the chances are very slim, considering how overpowered these are. There are only 2 curses currently in the game, both of them being super good for different reasons. Firstly, Curse of the Reaper. The debuff is that your health regeneration is cut to half, but you can heal up 75% of damage dealt to players and 33% against NPCs. This is so overpowered in PvP since you can regenerate from killing your enemy. The second curse is Curse of the Thief. Enemies will always target you and deal extra damage, but kill rewards such as experience, money, and drop rate are greatly increased. This is way too strong for grinding. You can just farm materials without worrying about the drop rates. The downside is that they do deal extra damage. I don't know how that's going to play out when using this curse, but it still sounds super good. Here's a tier list with both blessings and curses. I'm going to roll 3 of the mythic scrolls. Let's see what I get. The only good one in this roll was Elemental Level 4, but I'd rather have Deadly since it is applied to all players. Here I got Strong Grip, which is one of the best unique enchants, but the regular enchants aren't that good. I'm going to re-roll since I'm looking for a blessing or a curse. I got Deadly Level 5, which is max level and Masterpiece. This is probably the best out of the 3 I tried rolling for. As you can see, getting blessings and curses are very rare, even with the mythic scrolls. It's unfortunate that I couldn't get one, but I can't do anything about that. This was everything I know about the newly added scrolls and enchantments. I'm going to keep trying to get more scrolls for blessings and enchants. Feel free to ask me questions below in the comments, but other than that, I'll see you in the next video.